mother said I'd never be as special as my brother, so I made him too special to handle. My mother worshipped my younger brother Ryan, but considered me her biggest failure and made sure I knew it. While Ryan would get bedtime stories, I would get late night chores like scrubbing the basement floor. Whenever our relatives tried calling her out, she always had her favorite excuse ready. Ryan looks just like his father. I can't help but spoil him. I used to sleep in the converted laundry room while he got the actual bedroom. I was never my mother's daughter. I was just the live-in help who happened to share her DNA. When I was 13, I saved babysitting money for months to buy a used violin and teach myself. The day I finally played a simple song perfectly, my mother heard it from the kitchen. She stormed into my room, ripped the violin from my hands, and smashed it against the wall. Ryan is trying to nap. How dare you be so inconsiderate? She made me pay Ryan $50 for my savings as an apology for the disturbance, and forced me to write him a letter explaining why I was selfish. The punishments escalated during sophomore year. I'd been selected for the academic decathlon team, which meant scholarships in the future. The morning of the state competition, Ryan claimed he felt dizzy. My mother didn't just keep me home. She locked me in my room so I wouldn't disturb Ryan's recovery, and took my phone so I couldn't complain to people who wouldn't understand a mother's love. I listened to my team lose on the radio while she spoon-fed Ryan soup in bed. When I finally got out that evening, she made me write an apology letter to Ryan for causing stress that made him sick, and donate my competition prep books to his school, since you won't be needing them anymore. By senior year, her cruelty had become an art form. When I got into Yale early admission, she tore up the letter in front of me. We can't afford 2 college tuitions, and Ryan will need support wherever he chooses to go. She forced me to email Yale declining admission, watching over my shoulder as I typed. When I cried, she slapped me and sent me to my room without dinner for trying to manipulate her with tears. The worst came 2 days before my high school graduation party. I had saved for a year working overnight shifts at a warehouse. I rented a hall, hired a photographer, and even invited extended family that she'd kept me from seeing. Ryan mentioned his head hurt at breakfast, and my mother's face lit up with concern. "We'll have to cancel your little party," she announced. When I protested, she grabbed my wrist hard enough to leave bruises and made me call every guest myself to cancel while she rubbed Ryan's temples. That's when I realized she was never going to change. I had been playing defense all my life, and now it was time to play some offense. When I went to college, I studied psychology with a focus on dependency and enabling. I learned exactly how to create the monster my mother deserved. I even researched narcissistic personality development and took notes on every manipulation technique that would feed Ryan's ego while making him increasingly demanding. My plan was surgical. Turn my mother's golden child into a parasite so hungry for validation that he'd drain her dry, both emotionally and financially. I started sending Ryan gift cards from a secret admirer with notes about how special and misunderstood he was. Then I created fake social media accounts praising his mediocre music, inflating his ego to dangerous levels. I anonymously paid for a talent scout to tell him he was destined for stardom if he just believed in himself and ignored the doubters. Within a year, Ryan had dropped out of college, quit his part-time job, and demanded that my mother support his music career. He started running up the electric bill with his home studio equipment, and my mother started bleeding money. But when she called me to cry about it, I faked sympathy and said, "You always said he was special, Mom. You can't abandon him now." Then Ryan started bringing groupies home at 3 a.m., and my mother became scared in her own home. She started begging me to talk some sense into him. I just ended up mocking her. "But Mom, you made it clear Ryan's the only child worth your time." She went silent after hearing that and stopped complaining because that would mean admitting her fault in how she raised us. She actually went ahead and mortgaged her house for Ryan's needs. As for Ryan, obviously his music career never became successful, and he kept bleeding our mother dry. His reaction when the money ran out was the best thing to come out of my plan. When our mother finally said no to a $10,000 mixing board, he exploded. "You promised you'd always support my dreams. You said I was special." He moved out of her house and moved in with a woman twice his age. Classic mommy issues. When my mother broke down crying and desperately called him to make him come back, he blocked her. Now she lives alone in a studio apartment with her house foreclosed, her precious Ryan gone. She sends me desperate texts about reconciliation, but I never respond. I want her to know that in trying to prioritize one child, she lost both.